and welcome to Journey Writers' first Facebook Live presentation. I'm Carla Dean, President of Journey Writers. Before we begin, I'd like to tell you a little bit about our group. Journey Writers Incorporated is a nonprofit organization that provides a safe, supportive space for writers to share their work and receive constructive feedback. The organization was formed in 2013, and we meet twice each month to share our work and improve our skills. Please check our website, journeywriters.org, to find out more about us. Tonight's performance is free of charge. However, if you'd like to make a donation, please go to Eventbrite and purchase a $10 virtual ticket as a contribution to the group. These days, Journey Writers members hold virtual meetings, but prior to social distancing, we met face to face. In addition to bringing our writing to share with the group, members also brought food to share during the meetings. The food items were varied, but one food that somehow always made it to the table was chicken. In fact, chicken was included in our potlucks so often that last September, just for fun, we decided to write about what it might be like if one day there were no more chickens. Little did we know that 6 months later, the coronavirus pandemic would strike and chicken, along with many other items, would virtually disappear from grocery store shelves. Tonight, we're going to share with you a few of our pieces that describe what might happen if the chickens run out. We're also going to waffle a little bit and share some pieces on other topics. Each of the pieces in tonight's program is original, and it was written by a journey writer. So if you'd like to use one of these pieces, please contact us at journeywriters.org to secure the permission of the author. We hope that you will enjoy this presentation of Rona's Chicken and Waffles. Denise?
Good evening, I'm Denise Best, and the name of my piece is Didn't See That Coming. I've always had the gift of foresight. I guess you could call it hereditary, passed down to me from both sides of my family. I'm not infallible. I had a second go round to find my true soulmate. But when you take love and lust and the deep desire to save somebody out of the equation, I'm damn near clairvoyant. Sure, I can't hit no number, but I'm a Capricorn. It's hard for me to gamble. I sure can pick friends, though. Everyone says I have the best friends, but that's just because I can find my traveling spirits. You know, the deja vuers that travel with you from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. I still got stuff to learn, like seeing auras. But when it comes to energy, I'm telepathic. I can smell the arrival of BS on the wind, and my menace detector is fully operational. And I've called them. I mean, listen, microwave ovens, emails, cell phones, the World Wide Web, Facebook, Twitter, drones, 45, even Alexa. I mean, I couldn't believe that people actually paid to be surveilled in their own homes. I mean, this is America. Was there ever any doubt? You might call me a tad bit pessimistic and possibly even fatalistic. But when I saw the Mad Max movies, I knew then that someday there'd be a food shortage and clean water would be a memory. And when I turned the final page of Stephen King's book, The Stand, I understood that the ultimate battle would be good versus evil following a cleansing pandemic. I just didn't expect to live to see it. So I'm off a few decades. Mostly, I'm rarely wrong. That's just a fact. I mean, once I thought I made a mistake, but I was in error. But I have to admit, there's just no way I mean, never in my wildest vision. I didn't have a clue, could never have anticipated that one day during my lifetime, the chickens would become extinct. Didn't see that coming. Allow me to introduce you to Eva.
Thank you, Denise. My name is Eva Haldane, and I am reading a short piece called Meat. The last person in my family to eat meat from a real animal was Grandma. When she was younger, she told us there were warning signs of the end, but capitalism allowed the same patterns to continue. First, it was the fish. The oceans had been long polluted. Fish were filled with plastic and were mutated. Then, all of a sudden, livestock started to die. The cows and pigs started getting sick, and no amount of medicine can save them. Somehow, birds remained unaffected by the diseases, but they weren't safe from people. Turkeys became extinct soon after the bigger animals. No amount of anti-hunting laws could save them. For a while, millionaires and billionaires had chickens. They were small, required little land, and were easy to keep alive. Plus, they were the only ones with enough money to afford the around-the-clock security required to save them from poaching. Naturally, the price of chickens skyrocketed. $12 packages of wings from the grocery store were suddenly $40, $100, $200, and then they just stopped selling it at all. Grandma said she cried that day. The country tried to keep chickens in zoos, but people kept stealing them. The last video of an actual live chicken was from 2050. America held a national day of mourning. Flags flew at half-mast for weeks. The Great Chicken Riots of 2050 left major cities in shambles. It was a real dark period in history, America. In history, Grandma said. No one has actually seen an actual chicken in decades. Now we just eat meat. Well, most of us. Grandma refuses to touch it. That ain't no damn meat, she yells whenever we offer her some. You can just imagine how the holidays are. No one is clear what animal meat comes from. Grandma thinks it's rats. Others think it's roaches. Those two can survive anything. I don't care what it is. I've eaten it my entire life and I'm okay. Plus, from what I hear, it tastes just like chicken. Thank you. Take it away, Liston.
Thank you, Eva. My play is called What Happens When the Chicken Runs Out. The part of Mildred Smith is played by Denise Beth. Shelley Smith is played by Leslie Bivens. Cyrus Smith is played by Andre Keat. Newscaster played by Eva Haldane. Woman played by Teresa Harris. And I'm playing two parts, the hospital worker and Uncle Herbert. Act 1, Scene 1. The scene takes place in Mildred Smith's kitchen. It is a Friday afternoon. Mildred has just got off of the phone with Uncle Herbert. She calls her children, Cyrus and Shelley, to meet her at the kitchen table.
Listen up, Shelley and Cyrus. Our old furnace is on its last leg.
What are we gonna do? This old house is drafty and it gets real cold in here since, winter comes.
I know. I had a man come out here to look at it, and he said we had to replace it as soon as possible. I'm in a fix. I can't afford it.
Maybe we could all pitch in and help buy it. I'll put in some extra hours at Kentucky Fried Chicken between my classes at the college.
And I can ask the temp agency to find me a more permanent job.
I really appreciate you kids volunteering to help out as much as you can, but this project is too expensive. I did call my credit union and ask for a loan, but credit is poor after your father ran up all those bills trying to impress that young girl he left us for.
They won't give you a short-term loan?
They said the only way they will give me a loan is if I get a cosigner. You see, this is the mess your father left us in. Don't get me started.
Please, please, don't. Because right now I don't want to think about that man. His girlfriend is only a few years older than me.
That's what happens to you men. You get older and you think you got to have a young girl to make you feel better about yourself.
Not all men are like that, so don't go there.
Yes, I'm going there.
This is not the time to discuss what men do, including your father. Let's get back to our situation and try to work on getting a new furnace. I called your Uncle Herbert and invited him to dinner this evening.
Why invite him to dinner during our crisis?
Because he's my brother, and besides, he's got a lot of money.
Well, think about it, Mom. Uncle Herbert can put a hurting on some food. You know, that man loves to eat. If we're trying to save money, this might not be the time to try to feed him.
This certainly is the time to invite him. He owes me big time. Maybe he will co-sign on the loan for me.
What does he owe you for?
Never mind. That's between me and your uncle. So, if I could cook him that nice meal, maybe I can get him to help us out. Now, Shelley, I want you to go to the store and buy some fresh chickens and get some spaghetti and meatballs.
Shelly, make sure you get some big chickens because Uncle Herbert loves him some chicken.
It doesn't matter what size you get, because I'm going to make a nice chicken stew, his favorite.
Act 1, Scene 2. 1 hour later, Shelley walks in the door, exhausted, and puts down the bag of groceries.
Shelley, where's my chicken? I specifically asked you to buy chicken.
But Mom.
But Mom, nothing. You march your little self back to that store and get for some chicken, girl. And don't take all day about it.
Mom, I can't.
What do you mean you can't? Girl, if you don't get out of here and get me some chicken, we're going to have a problem.
We already have a problem.
What? Are you going to stand there and sass me?
I'm not trying to sass you. What I'm trying to say is there weren't any chickens. I ran around to 4 different stores and no one had chickens.
Shelley Renee Smith, I taught you to tell the truth.
I'm not lying, Mom. I have never seen anything like it. The stores are out of chicken. You should have seen the people fighting over the few chickens they had left in the store. 2 women got into a fight over some chicken legs. The package broke open, it hitting the elderly man in the head. One of the women trying to grab a chicken leg slid through the legs of the other. They started punching and trying to attack people in the meat department. So the manager came out of there and began spraying people. Folks was like flying off all across the floor everywhere. I had to get out of there.
Just then, Cyrus turns on the television.
Wait, y'all listen to the news.
We interrupt this broadcast with breaking news. It appears that there has been a shortage of chickens and people have been stressed out, and fighting has occurred in many stores. The shortage appears to have occurred due to natural causes. We have spoken to farmers who have complained that the productions of chickens decline, causing resources to be scarce.
A mysterious woman passes by, steps in front of the camera, and takes over the interview.
I'll tell you what's wrong. I've been warning the public for many years about what the problem is, but no one will listen to me. The chickens are protesting and have said enough is enough.
The newscaster takes the mic from the woman.
Now to continue with our story.
Grabbing the mic again.
You better listen to me. I have the ability to communicate with animals, and the chickens told me they are protesting because of poor conditions. They are tired of being caged in. They want better living conditions, and they are not pleased with the food you are giving them. They are in hiding and are willing to return if their demands are met.
A hospital worker runs up to them.
Alfreda, you come back here. I don't know how you escaped from the hospital, but you got to go back.
Why are you trying to fight me off? He sha la 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 la. I command you to take your hands off of me. I'll put a spell on you.
The hospital worker grabs her and escorts her away.
Sorry for the interruption.
What in the world is happening? What am I going to do if I can't get chicken for your Uncle Herbert?
I have an idea. Why don't I run down to Kentucky Fried Chicken and get some chicken?
That sounds like a good idea. You go down there and get the chicken, and I'll cut it up and put it in the stew.
End of scene. Act 1, Scene 3. We are at the kitchen table, and Uncle Herbert is about to arrive. Later that evening at dinner,
Mildred, you done outside did yourself this evening. This is the best stew I've ever had. I don't know what ingredients you added to it, but you surely cooked the hell out of it. I really do appreciate this.
Aw, it was nothing. I do it because I'm your favorite sister.
You my only sister.
I know. That's why I'm your favorite sister.
Yeah, you're right. You my favorite sibling. Now those brothers of yours could care less for the two of us. You notice I said your brothers. I'm not claiming them. The only time I hear from them is when they need some money. I feel like all they want to do is use me.
I know, but they're still our brothers. Listen, help yourself to some more stew.
Yeah, I don't mind if I do. Am I eating too much? You all haven't touched the stew at all.
we have chicken so much until I'm getting tired of it. Besides, I love spaghetti and meatballs.
Me too.
We know how much you like chicken, especially chicken stew.
That's right. And Mildred, you done fed me this good old chicken stew until all the wrinkles in my belly just about left.
Glad you enjoyed it.
So tell me how you getting along now since Rufus left you and the kids.
Oh, we're surviving.
Mildred, are you surviving or are you just getting by?
No, we're doing fine.
Mildred, you my sister, and I could tell you worried about something.
Herbert, I'm fine. Things are tight, but I'm managing. I've always been a survivor.
Yes, you are. I remember how you used to take care of our parents when they were alive. Now you taking care of your children all by yourself. When are you gonna start to take care of you?
When the time comes, I'll do that. But don't worry about me. I'll be fine.
The hell was that?
That was the furnace.
Why is it sounding like that?
It's on its way out. Uncle Herbert, we need a new furnace.
Well, what's stopping you from getting one?
I went to the credit union to get a loan, but because Rufus brought our credit down, I need a cosigner.
Well, why have you kept this from me?
Because I feel guilty.
Guilty about what?
My reason for inviting you to dinner was to ask you to co-sign the loan for me, but when you started talking about how our brothers only come to you when they need something, I couldn't ask you. That's why I feel guilty. I should be able to take care of this on my own.
Mildred, sometimes we have to reach out to others when we need help. You're not living on an island by yourself. Everybody needs help every now and then. Did you have someone come in and give you a written estimate of it? How much it'll cost?
Yes.
Let me see it.
She walks over to the cabinet and pulls out the letter. Herbert looks the letter over.
If you co-sign for the loan, I'll have the money taken out of each check I get to make sure the loan gets paid off.
I'm sorry, Mildred, but I'm not willing to co-sign the loan.
Oh, well, okay, well, I don't know what we'll do, but we'll pay for it somehow. We'll make it work.
What happens if you lose your job or you're not able to work at all?
I don't know, Herbert. I can't think about that now. I guess I'll deal with that when it happens. But thanks anyway. I understand it if you aren't willing to help us.
Now, wait a minute. I didn't say I wasn't willing to help. I don't like to co-sign loans, and I don't like money or bills hanging over my head. But I tell you what I'll do. I want you to come by my office on Monday, and I'll write you out a check to cover the cost of the new furnace, and I'll give you enough to have it installed.
Thank you so much, Herbert. Thank you so much. I will make sure I pay you every dime back.
No, wait, Mildred, will you stop it? This is not a loan. It's a gift.
But
nothing. I'm going to stop you right here. You know what your problem is? You always give, but you have a hard time receiving. Listen, I have to go. Fix me another plate to go.
Ooh, I'll fix it for you.
After Shelley fixes his plate, they all hug and Herbert exits.
Man, we got through that.
I didn't know what we were going to do. I started to panic when Shelley couldn't find any chicken in the store. And when you came back from Kentucky Fried Chicken empty-handed, I really began panicking.
Whew. But thanks to Cyrus, he saved the day.
But it wasn't easy. Running after all those squirrels was a job.
But your track days paid off. You caught enough squirrels to make a meal. Mom cleaned them up and prepared them so Uncle Herbert never knew he was eating squirrel.
And don't you ever tell him. And speaking of squirrel, I noticed that the two of you didn't eat any.
I wanted to laugh when he said it was the best stew he ever had.
I know. And then you looked at me with that smirk on your face. That was when I had to put my head down, pretending to pray so that Uncle Herbert would not see me laughing.
Let's put this all behind us now. We're getting a new furnace so we won't freeze this winter. Whew. I'm going to remember this day as the day the chickens ran out.
The end. And now I'd like to turn it over to Jackie.
Hi, my name is Jackie Davis, and my piece is called Just Another Plot. A crowd gathers on the lawn of the World Chicken Manufacturing Company, holding placards of chickens being held hostage. The company is surrounded by a huge chain link fence with government armed forces at the ready, holding tear gas rifles. There's a huge sign marked with a black Sharpie that reads, "Sorry folks, but our last chicken has died." Nobody believes it because we've all seen this Sharpie-enhanced deception before. A gigantic black brother's holding a placard of a dinner plate with rice swimming in gravy and black-eyed peas, collard greens with a scrumptious-looking piece of cornbread on the side. But what's noticed more than the food is a large, conspicuously blank area with a bright red Sharpie-drawn chicken wearing a black and white pinstripe prison top and wings clutching the government fence with a caption written above its beak that reads, "Don't believe the hype! We're being held prisoners inside the plant! Please free us!" Somewhere deep within the crowd of thousands, a tomato is thrown towards the fence and it splatters between two soldiers. The crowd shouts in unison, "Free our chickens! Free our chickens! An elderly white woman with wire rollers and a yellow and white polka dot scarf tied tightly to hold them in place feebly ambles up to the fence with a chicken head handled cane and speaks softly as she wags a finger directly in the face of a solidly built soldier holding his rifle pointed directly in her face. You should be ashamed, Sonny DeFalco. What would your dearly departed mama think if she could see you today? She must be turning over in her grave. Who would have ever thought that cute little boy riding his green tricycle with a ding-a-ling bell up and down our street would turn out like this? I'm going to light a candle in a church tonight and pray for your soul. Father Agnostius is going to say a special prayer for you tonight. Sonny wipes sweat from his forehead, throws his rifle down, and walks back into the building. The old lady turns and with a slowly widening grin, winks to the huge brother as she gets back into place within the crowd. With America the Beautiful playing in the background, Sarah Sanders' mechanical voice fills the air. Please disperse, folks. We're telling the truth this time. There really are no more chickens. The bird flu has wiped out the chicken population around the world. We gathered a few species and kept them in the plant with hopes that once we eradicated this disease, we could repopulate your farms with chickens from our plant. Our plans have failed. Someone with a virus from the bird flu sabotaged us, and our last remaining chicken died this morning. We've sent teams to the far corners of the earth where minimal human life exists in hopes of finding birds that can replace the chicken. When we have success, we'll inform you and we'll have a replacement for your favorite bird. Now, please disperse. Keep watching your TV for our announcements. We won't let you down. We're here for you. We're going to do it for America and the world. Nobody loves you more than we do. Go on home now. The crowd slowly disperses and the huge black dude angrily looks in the direction of the frowning frail woman who remarks, let's look in the side window to see what's really going on. They move into an adjacent building and take an elevator to the top floor where they have a large telescope trained on a window in the penthouse suite at the top of the manufacturing plant. They see a huge table with hashtag 45 at its head and his top advisors surrounding it. There are place settings for a victory meal. The food on the table looks delicious. The black brother and the old woman are waiting to see what the main course is. A timid Saudi Arabian waiter gingerly balances a huge tray on his emaciated shoulder, holding a plate with a solid gold cover carefully engraved with a huge calligraphy T. He positions it on a side table next to 45, who's wearing a gold cutout paper crown, pimps gleefully placed on his head earlier. Everyone anxiously waits for the waiter to lift the meal's dome-shaped lid. Jared jumps up from his seat, rushes to check the meal prior to 45's touching it. He picks up a tiny platinum fork from a minuscule red jade saucer and tastes a piece of the meat. Once Jared's sure the food's okay to eat, he takes a large, stiff step backwards, rotates his head 60 degrees towards 45, maintaining a solemn composure. He gives a brisk, curt thumbs up. The men around the table smile with their right hands holding gold forks poised high above their heads in apprehension and solidarity. After Jared gives the okay, the waiter places the dish in front of their leader, a man with an orange rooster-designed haircut who's salivating severely with his starched white linen napkin tied tightly under flaccid jowls. He bends down to take a whiff of its aroma, sits up and frowns. His face swells to twice its normal size as ruddy cheeks turn to a solid wine color and his jaundiced eyes widen grotesquely in complete contrast to his sunless, tanned, gelled orange face. What the hell is this? He clucks. He pounds on the table with both wings, gripping a solid gold fork and knife as his tiny claws struggle to scratch the floor from his high chair so he could stomp in unison. I told you to bring me a fresh chicken from my private stock. I want a Nando's coconut curry peri-peri grilled chicken with the works on the side. Give this replacement shit to Mitch and bring me my chicken. He looks across the room and spies a large gold-framed, recently painted portrait of his mentor sitting astride a horse, bare-chested with a bright red rooster's comb on top of his head and a large beard shaped like a rooster's wattle hanging from his chin as he dangles a fistful of what appears to be a strangled chickens held high in the air above his comb. Held high in the air above his comb. He suddenly turns and looks directly into 45's eyes and crows, "You too can aspire to be like me one day. Keep trying, chump." I swear I heard a whisper filled with sarcasm coming from Mitt Romney's end of the table saying, "My folks always said, you are what you eat." And there were gleeful smirks on each congressman's face as they prepared to eat. Thank you. Beth?
Gibbs, and I'm going to waffle now. My piece is titled Show Up and Be Heard, because in the middle of this crazy world, everyone wants to show up and be heard. And when I say be heard, I don't mean be heard as in you hear me talking until you can find a way to bring the conversation back to you. It means active listening, holding space for a person to feel seen and heard. So, how we talk, what we talk about, and when we talk is the other side of the communications coin, and it's just as important as listening. So during my piece, I'm going to share a list of talker types and listening styles. And my disclaimer is that it's filled with a number of Seinfeldisms from that sitcom that ran from 1989 to 1998. So, starting with me, I am a short talker. I speak in newspaper headlines and those breaking news banners that scroll across the bottom of your TV. I throw out words as bait to see if there's interest in hearing more about what I have to say, because I am horrified at holding people as communication hostages. And if I had to give a name to my listening style, I call myself a surfer. I catch the top waves of the topic and I ride it, tuning out the details if they drag on for longer than I can hang on. So to help me manage my energy in conversational exchanges, I've created a list of communication problem, solution scenarios. Problem, being interrupted. I call this condition talkus interruptus. These are the folks who constantly and consistently interrupt others. Solution, pre-plan a few stories and responses, because I'm an introvert. This is important. Recently, in anticipation of having dinner with friends, I decided to tell a story about a recent popular viral trend called the One Chip Challenge, in which participants eat a chip flavored with ghost pepper, the hottest pepper known to mankind. Then they post their pain online. So I rehearsed the story in my mind several times before dinner, knowing that I would be interrupted. And sure enough, one of the group had heard about the challenge and interrupted me several times to tell it her way. But this time I was ready. I simply ignored her interruptions and continued telling the story my way until she realized what she was doing and apologized. Success. Problem, hostage situations. This is being caught and held in someone's never-ending story that morphs from a Facebook post to a novel in just a few minutes. And here are some talker types who can definitely hold you hostage. Long talkers. Now, when they start in, you can almost see them opening full detailed files in their minds on what I call the K4P list, the unabridged activities of their kids, pets, plants, partners, and problems. They are what is known in Seinfeld talk as the unshushables. Then there are the side trail talkers who take listeners on the longest route to the point they're trying to make. And by the time they finally get there, everyone listening is exhausted. I wish they'd get right to the point and yada, yada, yada past the side trails. Then there are tornado talkers, and they have only one topic: complaints. They're the doom and gloomers, and their dark clouds will blot out the sun of your good mood in a nanosecond. And like a tornado, they start with a brisk breeze that develops into an intense whirlwind of negativity that sucks you in and carries you along until it fizzles out, or you find a way to escape. They make me want to scream, as in Seinfeld, "Serenity now!" But fortunately, there is a solution, and it is the only escape route. You have to interrupt, but you have to do it compassionately. You say with a smile, "I'm sorry to interrupt you." And you never, never, ever say, "I don't mean to interrupt you," because you do. Well, then you follow that line with a specific reason, like, "I'm late for a meeting," "I have to meet a friend," or, "Well, I have to pay my water bill before my kidneys burst." So here's a little poem I wrote to remind us how important it is to show up and be heard, and to show up and hear others. To be seen and heard is both a tango and a duet. To be successful, we must give as good as we get. Shift happens when we witness what we think and what we do, for only then can we know what adjustments may be due. How we listen and how we talk requires holding space. We know we need to practice, and we also need some grace. Thank you. Melissa, you're on.
Thank you. I'm Melissa Marshall, and the title of this piece is A Good Day. It was a good day. Jeanette had gotten a letter out to the governor from her advocacy group demanding equal access for people with disabilities in the face of COVID-19. Later, she would field hotline calls from disabled people impacted by the pandemic. Now Jeanette was stealing a few minutes for herself. She wasn't going to meditate or do yoga. She was going to clean. Cleaning had taken on a whole new meaning since COVID-19 became her central focus. Sanitation was now the priority. Before she began using bleach wipes on surfaces, she prepped herself by engaging in the new routine of washing her hands before she blew her nose, carefully disposing of the soil tissue, and washing them again afterwards. She, like everyone else, should presume that she was infected, even though she was asymptomatic. Today, she washed her hands cheerfully, admiring the bubbles and the frothy lather from the abundant amount of liquid soap that she dispensed onto her hands. She was trying to placate the COVID-19 gods, or demons, by washing her hands so thoroughly. She was obeying as many of their rules as possible and hoped that compliance would spare her and her family from peril. Other times, she scrubbed her hands in an angry attempt to rid herself of the plague that might be inhabiting them. Sometimes the hands she fussed over obsessively betrayed her. They would touch an unsanitized surface. They would touch her face. Seemingly without her consent, they would adjust her glasses, whisk away a strand of hair, or scratch her itchy skin. Jeanette commenced her methodological system for sanitizing by wiping the bathroom doorknobs. Since she used 2 wipes, she could clean both doorknobs on both sides simultaneously. Then she wiped the sink faucet. As she was doing this, she realized that she'd neglected the shelves in the medicine cabinet. She hoped this had not caused contamination that would kill her and her family. As she reached for the shelf, there was a shift, a sea change. She did not have time to acknowledge her privilege. She was a white person who worked in her climate-controlled middle-class home at her laptop in the richest country in the world. She was not a healthcare worker who was expected to work inhuman hours without the necessary protective equipment. Her food was delivered by others who she paid to risk their lives to bring her groceries, which were sold by people who earned minimum wage who also lacked adequate protective gear. She was assaulted by a wave of deep despair, panic, and shame. She placed an Instacart order scheduled to arrive later that day. She'd ordered chicken, but she remembered an article about a meat shortage. What if the chicken didn't come today? What if there's no chicken ever? What if people who harvested the food got sick and there's no grain, no fruit, or vegetables? What if she died from starvation and not COVID-19? What if everybody starved? Deep in the background was the thought that annihilation was unlikely, but she was crushed by the terror that consumed her. She was breathless from the gut punch from the COVID-19 demon god. The assault filled her with adrenaline and simultaneously sucked the life out of her. She tried to steady herself by putting her hand on the bathroom sink. Her cerebral palsy made standing hard in the best of circumstances, so leaning in the sink did little to stabilize her. She managed to pivot so that her back was against the shower door. She leaned on the door and slid until she was a sobbing heap on the bathroom floor. Salty tears burned her hands that had been scrubbed raw. She tried to stand up, to come to the surface, to prevent herself from drowning. But each time she was close to standing, she was struck by an image that sent her railing back to the floor. First, she saw the bodies of people with disabilities who'd been consigned to nursing homes. Some went to the institutions willingly, so as not to inconvenience family. Others went because there's simply no place else for them to go. Most of them had been poor, and a disproportionate number of them were Black and brown. All were disabled. Most were old, but some were young adults who'd come to believe that they were too disabled to live in the community. Their bodies were sometimes stacked in makeshift morgues. Images of their swollen, decomposing corpses flashed in front of her. Then she saw the faces of her living friends with disabilities who had little chance of survival if they contracted COVID-19. Kathy was a 58-year-old woman with muscular dystrophy who was told that if she survived beyond her 12-year life expectancy, that life in a nursing home was all but inevitable. Instead, she's a college graduate, an accomplished writer, and an advocate. As Kathy, who was unable to move independently, was preparing for the pandemic, she wrote to her circle of friends that she was less afraid of dying from COVID-19 than she was of her staff getting sick and being forced to abandon her to die from dehydration in her own excrement. The horror was filled with a torrent of shame. How could we let this happen? Everyone in the disability rights movement could have predicted this. Why had we not been able to raise our voices loud enough to be heard, to be understood, to be believed? The phone rang. She dragged herself to her cell phone, which had fallen to the bathroom floor. She saw it was a hotline caller. Hello, this is Jeanette at the hotline for people with disabilities and disasters. How can I help you today? Thank you. And now take it away, Andre.
Thank you, Teresa. My piece is chicken three ways. Chicken three ways. Chicken three ways. How many ways can I say I love you? Chicken three ways. I order the thighs. You give me those eyes. You destroy me. Chicken three ways. My order I sing. You spread those wings. Go off in the world without me. Chicken three ways. Fricassee or fried. Your wings I give to you for you to fly. Chicken three ways. I love you. I hate you. Damn it, I adore you. Chicken three ways. A leg on a platter. You say, what's the matter? I tell you what's up. Hey, baby, move over. Chicken three ways. Chicken three ways. A chicken sandwich, a bowl of soup, a wrap or a salad go loop de loop. Chicken runs, chicken run in a video. There's a run on chickens, and they know. Escape from the butcher, to and fro, running down the road. Now where to go? Chicken three ways, chicken three ways. Chickens are gone from the grocery shelves. The rest of the world is gonna go to hell. Chicken three ways, chicken three ways. Pack your freezers, a lot goes a long, long way. Now, take it away, Teresa.
The name of my piece is If There Were No More Chickens. If there were no more chickens, this is what I'd do. Stand on every corner and perch on every roof, shouting to everyone under the sound of my sad voice, no more chicken? No more chicken. There has to be another choice. Is there someone out there who can create another meat that can taste just like chicken? If so, it's you I seek. Money is no object. I'll even sell my home. Just gotta have that chicken, and I know I'm not alone. Oh chicken, I'll never forget thee. Thy breast, thy wing, thy thigh, thy legs, and even thy feet. Stewed, fried, baked, barbecue, it really doesn't matter. Without you, chicken, oh chicken, my life will be shattered. As I search the world for this new taste like chicken meat, please know you will never be forgotten. You were always my favorite treat. Take it away, Miss Jackie.
Hi, my piece is called After the Storm. The sun's always brightest after the rain. Everything's been cleansed by God's purifying water, everything except the pain. It takes time's nurturing presence to ease uneasy memories away. We continue to rebuild and repair our self-esteem each and every day. It's been said that as infants, we must crawl before we walk and eventually learn to run. The same is true for repairing one's self-esteem when unimaginable harm to a child's psyche has been done. We walk out of our homes smelling the remnants of the dampened earth as we notice beautiful flowers which have sprung up within the rain-drenched turf. Just as the flowers are fed by torrential rain, so must we continue to grow from our recently inflicted pain. We become stronger each day and fulfill our destiny by not letting anyone steal our possibilities. Walk away from dark thoughts of giving into pain. Step into God's sunlight, which always follows the rain. Please remember, you are stronger than you think. Be a leader for your siblings and show them that you will not let one fallen man cause you to give up and retreat. You were made from the love of the Lord above. So go out into the world and let your beauty shine. Be all that you can, and remember, true happiness will be yours in time. It's when we do for others and make this our norm, a chorus of angels in heaven smile down upon us. For it is only then that we've become the sunshine after the storm. Thank you. Carla?
Hi, I'm Carla, and this piece is called Chickens Scratched. Sundays just won't be the same. It's not quite clear just who's to blame. The dinner plate is sparse and sad. The preacher seems like he is mad. The yard is empty, yard birds gone. The coop is quiet when it's dawn. Laying hens are all at bay. All the chicks have gone away. No more legs and no more breasts, no scrambled, fried, or omelettes. There is no poultry to be found, I'm sure, 'cause I've looked all around. We'll have to go to Burger King 'Cause Chick-fil-A's are all closing. No KFC and Popeyes gone. No menus have chicken upon. No chicken soup, no chicken stew, no quiche, no pie, no chick ragu. Which came first and which came last? A question we no longer ask. The question now is what is next? Just thinking of it makes me vexed. My mood is foul without a doubt, 'cause all the chickens have run out. We hope that you have enjoyed this Journey Writer's presentation of Rona's Chicken and Waffles. Thank you to all of our Journey Writers for their writing and for their participation. To find out more about Journey Writers, we invite you to check out our website, journeywriters.org. If you are so inclined, we also invite you to make a donation to Journey Writers by going to Eventbrite and purchasing a $10 virtual ticket to Rona's Chicken and Waffles. We also encourage you to leave us a comment with your thoughts about tonight's presentation. On behalf of Journey Writers Incorporated, thank you for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and please stay safe and happy Mother's Day.